Murgatroyd. His shooting has improved immensatively.
Because we may or may not have been robbed by some creeps in San Antonio. Explicitly said black tie.
We essentially hitchhiked to the airport.
When Dad turns on the windshield wipers in the dark, it smears.
Hi, welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio, the only show that initiates staring contests with driver's license employees. We want to welcome our listeners from Thunder Bay, Canada, Strasburg, Virginia, Macon, Georgia, and last but not least, Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Thanks for listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. We've got listeners on iTunes, iHeart, Stitcher, Sonos. What's that new speaker thing?
Amazon Alexa?
Yeah, we've also got people listening using Alexa. Thanks for listening, all you guys. And today on our show, we're going to be talking about things that only happen to our family. Up here in the studio, I've got the boys. Let's see, we got Josiah over there. How's it going, Mr. Josiah?
I'm building a cardboard submarine, but I have that sinking feeling.
Elijah, what's up with you?
Well, I'm going to build a boat out of recycled milk jugs.
You guys are scaring me. Josh, what's up?
Speaking of submarines, I took a new job working on a nuclear submarine. You know, they go out into the Atlantic for 3 months. But I had to quit because the job was too high pressure.
Okay, we'll be right back with things that only happen to our family in just a minute.
Are you a failure as a parent or grandparent? Do your little ones cry for no apparent reason?
Do you have lots of money?
If you answered yes to these or any other invasive questions, we have good news for you. Treesock Press was named after a cat.
A very cute cat.
Treesock Press printed a book. That book is available in nearly indestructible hardback form and is printed with non-toxic ink so your little dinosaur can virtually eat the book. If this all seems too good to be true, you can go buy a cheap Disney book that's printed in China. Books printed in China aren't as good for teething toddlers as ones printed in Wisconsin.
What's the name of our book?
Dad the Tooth Fairy Didn't Come. This book is funnier than a root canal on a sinking ship.
I didn't know ships had teeth.
Order your copies of Dad the Tooth Fairy Didn't Come from Amazon today. Or tomorrow if you're on the international dateline. Comedy.
Parenting.
Radio.
So tell me one more time so I'll understand. Oh, you sure ain't done it this way. That old Hank gonna do it this way.
Okay, it's Comedy Parenting Radio. My name's Jerry Bagley. Got the gang up here, the boys, Josh, Elijah, and Josiah. And we're talking about things that only happen to our family. We leave home, and the kids are wearing inappropriate clothes or shoes.
For instance, wearing a polo jacket when it explicitly said black tie.
Well, like the one time, the name of the brother who has been changed to protect the innocent,
Josiah.
left home just wearing Bob the Builder swim shorts, cowboy boots, a dress shirt, and a tie. He used to always do that.
Was that for church?
No, well, maybe a lot of the times probably yes, but he would wear it everywhere.
That's true. He loved those Bob the Builder shorts.
With the cowboy boots.
I've been sitting in church and look over, and there's a kid wearing rubber barn boots.
That's happened more than often.
Yeah.
It's becoming a pattern now. Another thing that only happens to our family is the car breaks down while going to the airport on vacation.
Oh, that was nasty, wasn't it?
Yep.
Top of Vail Pass.
Top of Vail Pass.
Mom, Dad, whole bunch of little kids stranded
on us.
And we're trying to drive to the airport, which is 3.5, 4 hours from our house, right?
Right.
Yep.
And we've still got a ways to go to get to the airport, so we can't just abandon the car and walk.
We essentially hitchhiked to the airport.
And violin music was playing all the time.
Another thing that happens is burnt pancakes. I threw up that night.
Oh, Josiah.
Well, I wasn't the cook that night, okay? So don't blame me. However, I did have to get up with you when you were throwing up.
It was Josh's cooking, so...
Those weren't pancakes. Those are quesadillas.
Yeah.
Since when is a pancake supposed to be a quesadilla?
When it's filled with cheese and made out of corn.
Okay, you're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. We're talking about things that only happen to our family. We'll be right back.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me.
Ranger Station.
Hi, I want to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My front door. It was Smokey Bear. My husband was burning leaves in the yard. He just came inside for a second.
Never leave a fire unattended. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
Smokey said that too.
We go way back. I knew him when he was just a cub.
How cute.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio.
Another thing that only happens in our family is us kids having a great discussion about who gets to sit where.
In the car.
And oftentimes it transcends a discussion into a brawl.
A very polite brawl.
Indian rug burns all around.
And Dad's like, would you kids just sit down, be quiet, and buckle up? But you got to have these big discussions about so-and-so sat there last time.
Yep.
It's like the view is the same out the window of whether you sit in front or back.
Not if you sit on one side or the other.
The one thing that I like to threaten people with is that I say that I'm going to pull out every single molecule of their hair.
Nowadays, we have so many seats open that it's pretty much undisputed whoever sits where because there's so many seats to choose from.
I know, people are lost, like needing a map to get around in the big van.
You could just hide the Minotaur in the back of our car.
You know, another thing that happens only to our family is we run out of money on vacation.
That happens a lot.
Boy, you guys haven't lived till you've been away from home and run out of money. No, we're not going to go to that museum. No, we're not going to go to that zoo. No, we're not going to go to that hotel. No, we're not going to have any dinner, lunch, or breakfast. We need to get home quick.
Yep.
Jump in the van.
Because we may or may not have been robbed by some creeps in San Antonio.
Yeah. And we're just going to drive straight through 36 hours straight back home.
Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio.
Okay, it's Comedy Parenting Radio. You know, there's something else that only happens in our family.
What would that be?
The dishes. They get piled up on the side of the counter and in the sink, and there's dishes left there forever.
Right?
In tandem with that, what about that one pan that gets neglected for about a week and a half?
Yeah, there's a pan. There's always a pan that has baking soda in it if it's lucky, and it's sitting somewhere in the corner of the house in some inconspicuous place, right?
So that people will forget about it and then won't bring it up.
Certainly, Dad's not going to see that pan behind the washing machine.
And also, like, those containers that people just don't want to wash, and they just, like, stuff behind the fridge or something.
Exactly, so we find dirty dishes all over the place.
Lydia, you hid a pile of dishes in the dishwasher for so long.
Get your hands off of his neck right now. Right now. Okay? All right? And once it's discovered, there's always this great intellectual discussion about who's responsible to wash that pan.
Not always. Usually it's people just immediately pointing out the perpetrator.
And the perpetrator denying it.
Mm-hmm. Everyone points to the perpetrator, and then the perpetrator points at everyone else.
Well, another thing that only happens to our family is everyone's wearing mismatched socks, except for Dad.
Thank you very much. Yeah, not only mismatched socks, but socks with holes. When I see you guys take off your shoes somewhere, and the hole in your sock is big enough to fly a crop duster through, And I'm thinking, why didn't they throw this sock away about 5 years ago, you know?
Or a lot of the times you'll ask us to go get socks on. So we'll run upstairs, put socks on, but there's a hole that doesn't even cover the entire bottom. And you just like folding over parts of, stretching out the sock, trying to fold it over underneath your foot.
Tucking it in between your toes.
I was going to say, tucking it in between your toes.
That's what he said.
That's what I said. Rather pathetic, really.
You know, in our family, and in our family only, children would like to have pets, like, say, a couple of cats. And who ends up feeding them a lot of the time? Dad.
Unfortunately.
That's because,
Stereotypically,
I end up feeding them because you want the pets, but I wake up early. Then your cats are outside of the house. Meow, meow. They're so pathetic sounding. They claw on the door, and you'd think that maybe they just came home after 1 year of being lost and running across the U.S. So I feed the cats.
You shout it out, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud.
You are listening to Comedy Parenting Radio with your host, Jerry Begley.
When your kid rips holes in their pants at the playground, when your princess needs an outfit for that birthday party, when you come home from grandma's and can't find the other shoe for the baby, it's time to stop in at Once Upon a Child in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. This store is chock full of gently used clothes, toys, and shoes. You'll save so much money you can hide extra changes of clothes in PVC tubes out in the woods for the zombie apocalypse. Once Upon a Child, located next to Walmart in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Give them a visit before you see zombies at Grandma's birthday party.
Something that only happens in our family is when it's time to go, certain people can't find their shoes.
And I said, like the day before, I said, get your shoes ready because we're going to go tomorrow.
Get everything ready.
Get everything ready. And they even show me. They show me their shoes. And then the next day, it's like their shoes just disappeared.
I'm pretty sure there's a temporary hole in the ozone for shoes.
When it's time to leave.
When it's time to leave, yeah.
Another thing that only happens in our family is when Dad turns on the windshield wipers in the dark, it smears.
Yeah, in the dark. And it's got smeary windshield wipers, and I can't see the road. And the children are going, Dad, can you even see the road? And I'm going, of course I can. It's fine. Don't worry. I'll pull over soon and fix it. Meanwhile, I'm like, I hope we don't run off the road.
Internal panic mode activated.
But we turn into a gas station.
And we all dispense gas.
And the car turns into a pumpkin. I would have to say that the absolute most notorious thing that only happens to our family is when the parent sees a guest and they have a spoon at the dinner table, and that spoon has a dried chunk of food on it, and then the parent has to try and disappear it.
Oh, yeah. That's nasty.
That's not a very easy thing to do, huh?
That means that you need to fire the dishwasher.
I would love to fire all the dishwashers in our house.
But then you'd have nobody to carry wood. Or clean the house.
Boys, this means war.
Or for you to feed.
Okay, I guess we'll go with the dried chunks of food on the spoons every now and then, and I'll just deal with it, okay, guys?
All right.
All right.
Okay, I want to thank you guys for coming out here tonight.
I was glad to come out and share our totally unrelatable experiences with everyone.
You're welcome. It was such a long walk to get here.
And before you guys go,
Yeah?
make sure you go down there and just line out your shoes for tomorrow, okay?
Sounds good. We'll do that.
Bye-bye.
Tonight, any protester, any instigator or agitator will be made example of.
I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.